I just wanted to come back and do a touch on the one thing that I kind of had an experience with myself, although I don't know whether to call it paranormal or something else. Essentially, what happened to me, which started in November and it went on for 3 weeks, was I was awakened about 1 in the morning with the need to go to the bathroom. I attempted to get up and I couldn't. I felt like there was a pressure on my chest and I felt like I was being thrown backward into the bed and pinned. I was very afraid and I didn't know what was going on, and then I saw a pair of very bright red eyes stare me in the face, and kind of a red aura around kind of enshrouded me, and I began to smell sulfur and I began to hear growling. Um, that first time that it happened, I don't even know how long it went on. I just know that I was terrified and that I didn't know how to handle it. But when it did stop and I was able to get up and I was assessing it, I kind of had that first impression that it could have been a dream. It could have been my imagination. I do a lot of paranormal research during the day, so perhaps it was something that, just came to me just in my mind randomly. But then it happened again the following night, and then again the following night, and again the following night. And it went on for so long that I began to forget what sleep really was. I was afraid to go to sleep. Because every single time it was the same time every morning, 1 in the morning, 1 in the morning, 1 in the morning. Um, I began to research things. I began to look things up and discuss things with my friends in the paranormal network and in the community. And I began to wonder, well, maybe it's sleep paralysis, because I've heard of something called old hag syndrome, and which essentially is exactly what I experienced, except, it continued and it changed. It did change. There were about several different times that I noticed different pitches to the growling. I noticed that there were more than one voice. I noticed a smell of sulfur at one point, and then I noticed that when I would go back into my bedroom during the daytime, when I was not asleep, that I would notice that sulfur. Maybe I wouldn't notice the growling exactly, but that would definitely come later. And I began to wonder whether something had attached or followed, or if I had an entity that had somehow followed me home um, from somewhere. I don't do full on investigations like you see on Ghost Hunters or Paranormal State or Ghost Adventures, but you know, through all my research, I'm beginning to wonder whether something did actually come with me back to my house. And that did very much worry me, and I did a lot of research and a lot of talking, and I didn't know how to address it. Because to be honest, I've had residual haunts happen to me. I've had some intelligence haunts happen to me, but I've never had anything like this go on, and it scared me to death. However, it went on and it went on. No matter how hard I tried, no matter what I did many different methods of attempting to rid myself of this thing. I even went to my psychiatrist, the same person that I go to for my bipolar disorder. I went to them and they said, well, the paranormal does exist. They've had people come in, as I've mentioned in one of my last videos, where somebody would come in thinking they're crazy and there's nothing there to suggest that there could be a psychosis of any kind. Um, I did some testing. I even did some sleep testing. And, it's weird. I sleep fine. I slept fine when I was away from the house. I slept fine when there were other people that were close by, but alone, not so much. However, it finally went away when I had set up something to hopefully record it, and I was going to let it go all night. And I stood there and I said, "You don't have permission to harass me anymore. You don't have permission to touch me. You don't have permission to bully me. I want you to leave." And it never came back after that. And so I'm kind of wondering either if that was something that I did psychologically to myself to move that stage of my life on, or if there's something going really, really paranormal going on. I don't have a real answer for that specific question. I don't have any answers to what happened then. And I should say I'm really not that worried about that because it's gone now. I can sleep properly without that issue of waking up at 1 in the morning, unless I really do have to go to the bathroom. So this is the question I'll pose to you. Have you ever had this happen? I have had a few other people while I was actually during the experience were having the same exact experience as me at the same time, and this was just one person who was like a sister to me. And then I've had another person who told me that his non-believer of a brother, and if you're watching this, you know who you are. His non-believer of a brother had that exact same thing happen to him for 3 days in a row, and then it stopped. So, my question to you guys: have you ever experienced this? Do you have a rational or an irrational explanation for this? Do you think that there is something out there that really does like to harass you in your sleep or when you're trying to sleep? Do you think that there is something specific we could do? Is there a name to put to it? I have so many questions that need answers. And that's essentially what this vlog and what my blog is all about. I want to find answers. I don't want them just for myself. I want them for the future generations. I want them from everybody else in this world, in this country, wherever, who is experiencing these sorts of things. I think it needs to be explored more. There are so many facets of the paranormal that have been explored, from demonic entities to residual haunts and more. And I haven't really heard that much about this old hag syndrome or the mysterious visitor in your sleep. So, give me an answer. I'd love to know. I'd love to hear from you guys. You can PM me here or leave a comment below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I see it. I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope I didn't bore you silly. Have a good night, guys.